Hello on YouTube, on Twitch, and welcome to another episode of my Plague Inc. Let's Play series. This is Northstar. I hope you're well, taking care of each other, and being kind to yourselves. Apparently, they just released a Aliens and Anti-Vaxxers DLC. Comes with stuff like a Tiberium plague, basically. They don't call it that for whatever reasons, but turn the Earth into a solid crystal sounds an awful lot like Tiberium from Command and Conquer. Doesn't matter. Not going to be able to afford to invest the money in that DLC. Streaming is growing so slowly, and the government is trying to do everything it can to delay, disrupt my getting Social Security from now on COVID. I mean, I'm disabled, I can't work. It's stupid. I just talked with a member of disability law team that I'm working with. They sent me a form, and I'm like, should I do anything with this? Like, no. If you do it, they'll send you the form again in 2 weeks, and again in 2 weeks, and they'll keep doing this for 6 months. I'm like, why would they do it? Their point is to overwhelm people. I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I feared it would be. I've talked about how they use paperwork to try and overwhelm people and get them to give up, and the person in the law team's like, point blank, yeah, I didn't even suggest it. They just said it. Which confirms exactly what I feared and suspected. The government is only working to screw over the vulnerable, because it is, to quote Marx, nothing but the executive committee of the bourgeois. That is, it only works on behalf of the billionaires. The bourgeois means billionaire class, multi-millionaires, billionaires, people who can live off their money, don't actually have to work, though they may still choose to. The majority of their income comes from owning assets. Rental properties, stocks and bonds, that kind of thing. Large landlords count as bourgeois, though if they have to work as well, including fixing up properties, they're petit bourgeois. It's a different thing. But anyways, the government only does what's in the interest of the very, very rich, and it stops the very, very rich from fighting each other and gets them to focus their efforts on screwing over the lower classes, the middle class, the working class, whatever. That shouldn't be controversial, but it is just because Marx said it, and we've been brainwashed to be anti-communist in the United States and much of the West by who else but the government, who have influenced the media and influenced the NGOs, and the billionaires have also funded NGOs to put out this propaganda to make people fear communism. They started it right when the Cold War began, after forcing the Cold War down the throats of the people of the world. The voters in the United States absolutely did not vote for the Cold War. But the 1944 party convention of the Democratic Party was rigged, was stolen, and Truman became vice president instead of hiring Edward Wallace, who was in favor of friendship with the Soviet Union and would have not started the Cold War. Because the Democratic Party insiders knew FDR was going to die, and so they snuck their own person into office this way. And Truman was virulently anti-communist. And in England, Churchill, who would have been like the Truman of the UK and was very anti-communist, lost re-election. But the Labour Party were a bunch of rats. And there's a comment I left very recently. Someone who said, a little comment thread on a John Oliver video of all things, but this is worth reading. Someone says, it's about Viktor Orban as media consolidation, and people pointing out how, Trump is copying Viktor Orban's techniques, and someone says that's 1984, almost verbatim, and someone says they took it and said, how can we implement this and yet make it worse? That sounds great, but it's false. This is what I wrote, and it's worth reflecting on and rather think up exactly as this. Brand new. I'm just going to read what I wrote, because this gets the nail on the head here, I think, pretty well. Know and a knowledge of history would help you understand goes deeper. Orwell was a sellout, quote, socialist. He was, by the way. He considered himself a socialist. He wrote about it openly. Who worked for the British Empire's secret propaganda ministry. Get that in a second. He wrote in 1984 based on Nazi Germany, and give it all a communist tint in order to villainize the Soviet Union, because the leaders of the British Labour Party at that time were rats who promised friendship with the USSR when they won elections after World War II, knocking out anti-communist monsters like kicking out, anti-communist monsters like Churchill, who was a racist, racial supremacist, genocidal monster whose actions helped cause the Bengal famine, and wanted to grasp whole Iraqi and Pashtun villages at various points in his life. It's all true, by the way. I provide citations if you folks are going to want. And then went and formed a secret anti-communist propaganda and misinformation distribution ministry known as the Information Research Division. The name was, fittingly, quite, quote, Orwellian, and the mystery may have been an inspiration for 1984 as well, immediately after taking office. So, in case that was a little much to follow, the British Labour Party promised friendship with the Soviet Union, got elected on friendship with the Soviet Union, kicking out the Conservatives. Churchill was a member of the Conservative Party, and then proceeded to form an anti-communist propaganda ministry in secret that went about getting the media to push out anti-Soviet, anti-communist propaganda. So they forced the Cold War on the people, even when the people voted against having a Cold War. As in the U.S., they would have if they were given the chance, but they were given two candidates who are both anti-communist to vote to choose from, because FDR was going to die, so it was really a choice between Truman and the Republican running for president in 1944, and so by using the two-party system, by abusing it, there were no actual options. Anyways, enough of that tangent. I had to get that off my mind, and let's do an outbreak mode here, shall we? Anyone who's stuck around, let's see. Distended Husk, a bioweapon, BSL 6, budget cuts. Bleached Malaise, BSL 7, Combo King, Poppin' Orange Bubble reduces all trait costs. Ooh. This is a fungus. If I can find under the radar long enough, get enough orange bubbles, this could be unstoppable. Patient 0, lethality, patient 0. So this is how many people you start with infected. Don't want starting lethality. If anything, I want less to find the radar. People start dying. So Central America is out of the question as a start. Southeast Asian version doesn't work. I guess it's vulnerable to antifungals. Wealthy minus 1.4%. Higher lethality and infectivity growth. That is, you get things that give those. Works better in humid countries. Colombia, it'll spread around the globe from though. By the way, this is Colombia, air quote, but it also includes modern Venezuela. I'm feeling a little cheeky, and I'm a little pissed that the U.S. just got away with abducting the leader of a country, and no one tried, Trump for violation of international law or constitutional principles. It's basically an act of war he committed without congressional approval. And then, of course, you start the war with Iran right after that. But, of course, the government is nothing but the executive committee of the bourgeois. They don't give a damn. Alright, let's just do normal. No. Let's do casual, actually. Because I've spent too long talking, and I want this to be quicker video, because I feel like I probably lost all my viewers. That. Fungus DNA detected. Yeah. So everything gets cheaper if I wait and don't evolve anything for a while. New social network launches. There is new social network in the scene for people without friends. Blank Book Plus is expected to attract billions of people within days. So people will spend even less time outside the house, which make it harder for a plague to spread. You can't spread stuff if you're not in contact with other humans. A lot of these orange, I bet everything is really cheap now. I get a refund for taking Spore Burst? Well, that's nuts. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. I get paid to take certain things. Alright, let's grab one now. Since this doesn't spread well. Borders yet. It's at least a few transmission things. Popped up in West Africa. So let's get paid to do this, so I might as well do the Spore Burst nice and early. Need DNA points to work with other stuff. But I need to save some. And they actually probably keep getting more beneficial as they get orange bubbles. Severe storms strike Botswana. Blame the plague instead of the storms and the way the game works sometimes. And 22 dead. List of love. Oh, we get a refund for taking nausea. Vomiting. Coughing. And amusing. Still costs devolve. If you run this for a little while, might benefit with the Festival. New miners de-spreading. Of course, this means I wasn't able to fly under the radar. Well, got so many orange bubbles at first. I can probably just the more I take, of course, the more expensive things get. I'll grab stuff that gives me a refund. Why not? It's points. This starts working. Cure. Email mutated. Oh no, that was one of the ones that I think gave me a refund. Yep. At this point, I'm obviously not flying under the radar. This is so out of control, there was no point in it. Hypersensitivity rich countries, particularly vulnerable. Grab drug resistance and hardening, because there's definitely going to be efforts to work on this. 273 years. Took a second for the genes to kick in, and then boom, you saw how it exploded. I need some cold resistance based storing location though. Use suppression mutated. That'll cause some deaths and a lot more mutations. Let's grab rodent transmissions. And livestock too. It's very, very cheap and gives more mutation. Blood too. They're starting to shut down land borders. I'm gonna have to devolve that very soon. Hoping to get a mutation, but it might not be wise to. Too much severity. Alright, let's lose hypersensitivity and suppression. What's causing the most? Is this useless severity, so that people don't shut down the borders too soon. It's starting to spread. Alright, might as well grab drug resistance too and spread better in rich countries. Devolve immune suppression again. Grab water too and air too. Extreme bioaerosol, it's all free at this point. That's too extreme zoonosis. Paranoia in Egypt. Rash mutated. Still haven't reached Greenland or Iceland, so. Edema. That causes lethality. Alright, bugger that. Let's use Spore Burst. Okay. Diarrhea is free. Cause of deaths from seizures are free. Insanity will make it hard to cure. Employee is free. Fever mutated. Cool. Skin lesions and bruises. Pumping up that lethality. It is way too late for them. Let's just grab all these. I've got so much DNA. This increases inventivity. Can't see it. Spore hardening. Spores continually released. Help with spreading Greenland quicker, so I don't burn through. Paralysis, coma. These both make it hard to cure. Total organ failure. Tragic shock. Total hemorrhaging. There we go. Massive lethality. Systemic infection will help too. I'll help people left. Boom. And victory. Using diarrhea, the oops combo. Gentle vomiting, coughing, and vomiting can occasionally. Yep. Alright. Transstasis make it even better. Transmission stasis, that is. Bioweapon. PSL 6. Budget cuts reduced worldwide medical budgets. Probably do this. Let's give a pathogenesis gene. Next video, I think I lost too many viewers with my little rant at the beginning. I mean, I do YouTube both to make money eventually, but also have a platform to talk about political stuff. Sometimes do pure political videos, but with censorship these days, that's very dangerous. Just start shutting down left-wing channels because Trump is a fascist. I mean, it won't happen for a couple years yet, I'm sure, but it'll happen. Pretty confident at this point it'll happen before he leaves office or under his successor, who might be another Republican, because America has just gone right off the rails. And there's attempts to make elections even more rigged than they already are. They're already in many ways biased against poor people being able to vote. For instance, with Election Day not being a national holiday, so people don't get off work. You get all sorts of other stupid days, but not Election Day. Anyways, say we, because you say a person poor though, not able to work. But I was working when I was healthy. I was an EMT. Worked on ambulances. Anyways, and all sorts of other jobs for that, but that was before I could to save money to relocate to where there were actually jobs and where the EMTs weren't all people with 4 years of experience in a big city first. So I could actually get a job in the field. Anyways, I wish you all the best, my viewers. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. May you always find a guiding star to lead you home. Until next time, it's Northstar. Do. Best luck to you all.